And the committee here today will continue to evaluate the administration's nuclear diplomacy with Iran. That's the subject of the hearing today. Negotiators face a high-stakes deadline next week. We'll hear the administration's case today, but it's critical that the administration hears our bipartisan concerns here. Deputy Secretary Blinken, this is your first appearance before the committee, and I congratulate you on your position. I wish you well. And after the hearing, I trust you will be in touch with Secretary Kerry, Undersecretary Sherman, and others that are involved in the negotiating process to report on the committee's views, and I think this is very important. This committee has been at the forefront of examining the threat of a nuclear Iran. Much of the pressure that has been brought on the Islamic Republic of Iran and that brought them to the table was put in place by Congress. And it was put in place over the objections of the executive branch. Now, that's the executive branch, whether it was Republican or Democratic administrations, but it is the House of Representatives that has driven this process. And we'd have more pressure on Iran today if the administration hadn't pressured the Senate to sit on the Royce sanctions bill that this committee produced and passed in 2013, and passed, by the way, unanimously, and passed off the House floor 400-20. So, Congress is proud of this role, and we want to see the administration get a lasting and meaningful agreement. But unfortunately, the administration's negotiating strategy has been more about managing proliferation than preventing it. And the case in point that I bring up is Iran's uranium enrichment program, the key technology needed in developing a nuclear bomb. Reportedly, the administration would be agreeable to leaving much of Iran's enrichment capability in place for a decade. If Congress will be asked to roll back its sanctions on Iran, which will certainly fund Iran's terrorist activities when we roll back those sanctions, then there must be a substantial rollback of Iran's nuclear program. And consider that international inspectors report that Iran has still not revealed its past bomb work, despite its commitment to those inspectors, to the IAEA, to do that. And the IAEA is still concerned about signs of Iran's military-related activities, including designing a nuclear payload for a missile. Iran hasn't even begun to address these concerns. And last fall, over 350 members wrote to the Secretary of State expressing deep concerns about this lack of cooperation from Iran. How can we expect Iran to uphold an agreement when they are not meeting their current commitments? Indeed, we were not surprised to see Iran continue to illicitly procure nuclear technology during these negotiations, or that Tehran was caught testing a more advanced centrifuge that would help produce bomb material quicker, a new grade of supersonic centrifuge, right in the middle of this process. This was a violation of the spirit and, in my view, the letter of the interim agreement. Iran's deception is all the more reason that the administration should obtain zero notice anywhere, anytime inspections on Iran's declared and undeclared facilities. You have to have a verification regime in this process that's going to work for us. And there's also the fact that limits placed on Iran's nuclear program as part of the final agreement now being negotiated are going to expire. They'll expire, and that means the final agreement is just another interim step. What you call the final agreement is an interim step, with the real final step being Iran treated as any other non-nuclear weapon state under the Non-Proliferation Treaty, thus licensing it to pursue industrial-scale enrichment. With a deep history of deception, covert procurement, and clandestine facilities, Iran is not any other country. It's certainly not any other country to be conceded in an industrial-scale nuclear program. Any meaningful agreement must keep restrictions in place for decades, as over 360 members of Congress, including every member of this committee, are demanding in a letter to the President this week. Meanwhile, Iran is intensifying its destructive role in the region. The Islamic Republic of Iran is propping up Assad in Syria, while its proxy, Hezbollah, threatens Israel. Iranian-backed Shia militia are killing hopes of a unified, stable Iraq, and last month, an Iranian-backed militia displaced the government in Yemen, formerly a key counterterrorism partner to the United States. Many of our allies and partners see Iran pocketing an advantageous nuclear agreement and ramping up its aggression in the region as a result of the hard currency that they'll have at their disposal as the sanctions are lifted. So this committee is prepared to evaluate any agreement to determine if it is in the long-term national security interests of the United States and our allies. Indeed, as Secretary Kerry testified not long ago, any agreement will have to pass muster with Congress. Those were his words. Yet that commitment has been muddied by the administration's insistence in recent weeks that Congress will not play a role. And that's not right. Congress built the sanction structure that brought Iran to the table. And if the President moves to dismantle it, we will have a say. So I now turn to the ranking member, Mr. Elliott Engel of New York, for his opening remarks.